All right, guys, just so you have something to watch in the meantime, we're gonna cast this series real super quick. We're gonna jump straight in. It's between Masterleaf and Drive. Masterleaf's actually watching the stream, so he's probably not too impressed right now. But Drive, it's on the left-hand side here, playing as the Nod faction. Masterleaf will be playing as GDI on the right-hand side of Tiberium Rift. This series was just played, so these guys had just come off the bench. You probably already know the scoreline, but again, there's going to be a gap before the semis are played, so we're going to watch this series and see how it goes down. Masterleaf now just drafting 2 squads. Drive here, 3 militants coming out, going to secure a spike, nothing fancy going on there. This is a game 1 of a best of 3. Hope you're enjoying the tournament so far. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it past center. Very disappointed with my Galaxy game there. I can't believe at the end it's the never-ending center train, and I thought I would have been fine. But yeah, not only did I not hold it, but I didn't hold it by a long shot. He had those juggernauts there, and he was still just pouring in units, and he just throws units at you until your base defenses get clogged up with dead bodies that they can't shoot through them. But Drive is going to come out with the Raider Bugger here. Drive, probably the best Russian remaining in the game right now. When it comes to Russian players, there are definitely a few greats out there, but Drive has stuck around. Surprised we haven't seen much Futurama. Futurama is definitely quite good, especially in the 2v2, but Drive Russian has made his name as a very, very tough player to play in all walks of life. He's actually going for a Flame Rush. What have we got? Where is it? Where is it? He's built something. He's got a Flame unit there. That's weird. Did he do the build wrong? Or is he trying to fake Masterleaf out? There's gotta be a flame tank. I'm scouring the radar, but there's no... I mean, it is yellow, but there's nothing on the radar. Masterleaf hasn't bitten the... He hasn't taken the bait. He's gonna build a Pitbull now, but I mean, he's not really... He's building another Harvester. He doesn't seem too concerned at all with what's going on. I mean, he must be able to see this Blackhand squad. Maybe he knows it's a fake. Drive's going to go for the blue tib. He's only got... he's got 4 Harvesters. Will Masterleaf panic, though, at the sight of that Blackhand? He must have spotted that earlier. Not going to take the garrison. Just going to flame this down. Battle markers all over the base here. Just have scouting squads every... he's still producing Harvesters. Another Pitbull coming out now. Some more Pitbulls coming down. Second War Factory. Look at that. Side by side. He is... Masterleaf has said don't do double War Factory as GDI for 1 base. He's told me that. He said that in the past. Especially when I do it versus him. But yeah, you can pump out a lot of stuff real quick. Masterleaf is probably smart enough to know that if there was a Flame Tank or a Reckoner, he would have been hit by it already. The fact that he hasn't been hit by it should be a telltale sign. Drive is actually putting out a double racks. He's just going to cheese some type of all-in, or maybe he's just going to bike it with these rocket squads here. Masterleaf's moving across the map. Yes, he is getting blue tib, but there's quite a number of Pitbulls here. He's going to need to put a racks down, which he will do. Very easy to defend against Pitbulls by slamming down a half dozen rocket squads. You don't even need half dozen. I mean, just a couple would be fine. Most GDI players probably won't commit unless they can really snipe that Harvester down pretty fast. There's only 2 squads here. Masterleaf would probably just go in with that. Some bikes are here. There is a comm center down. I don't think he's going to be able to get that Harvester. No, he's taking too much damage here. 1 bike remaining. I don't think he's going to have to shots off. Oh, that was tight. 1 more rocket would have been fine. He does push the Pitbulls back, though. So you can see there that the rocket spam in between there is just enough to push Masterleaf back. He doesn't really want to give away all these Pitbulls. Even if he got a Harvester, he'd be hard-pressed to justify it. Doesn't realize... I mean, he must realize that Drive hasn't expanded.
Unit under attack.
Yeah, he can see it's gone. He must have expanded over here. Infantry are here. He's got no tower queued. He is going for AP ammo. It's almost done. His MCV's under attack. He will laser field it. That will make it very, very, very tough. Still not queuing any type of turret, but he's got 3 APCs coming. Should be able to dispatch what Drive has here. But this is definitely slowing Masterleaf down. Drive can definitely get back into the game. You can can definitely get back into the game if he's popped a ref down. He has got a ref down, more infantry squads here, but Masterleaf will have AP ammo done very shortly. Rocket squads just herding away these small amount of pitbulls. Masterleaf's economy not looking too fantastic, still hasn't got a ref down. Now he does have a window here. He's going to have AP ammo done. There's going to need to be some Scorpion tanks. He is pulling the Scorp from his main. 2 more Scorps being pulled from the main as well. He's going to have 4 Scorps here. Should be able to defend against this, especially with the War Factory scattered infantry. This infantry are pretty much dead. They can inflict some damage to these forces though. Just a single shot coming out of... Looks like each squad got about a single shot off. This squad may get another shot off, and it will do so. These APCs relatively unscathed. A little bit of hull damage there. Snare himself a pitbull. Scorpion tanks now coming out. Drive Russian, second ref down. He's actually done it. He's actually pulled back the economic difference here. Masterleaf had to sell one of his war factories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 harvesters for Masterleaf. Drive Russian has 4 and 2 on this expansion, and he's got 4, 5 and 2 on his main. He's actually significantly ahead of Masterleaf now. Masterleaf just playing, I think he definitely overcommitted on the double war factory. He was on double war factory for too long. Maybe he thought it was an all-in. I mean, Drive has done a very weird and unusual build, so that can definitely throw your opponent. We're going to see a fight here now between these forces. I think Drive probably doesn't quite have enough of the AP ammo. I mean, it's not fantastic against Scorps, but there's enough of it here that it will be able to destroy these forces. Not shooting at the decoys though. Masterleaf just on point there. Now he will dispatch those now. But yeah, not falling for that one. Drive is repelled. Comm center is down. Dozer Blade's not quite on its way. It is on its way now. A lot of the time, I probably said this before, that when you drop your comm center, most of the time you tend to hit a low power as you drop it, because professional players will play it very light on the power, especially at this stage in the game. And you got to remember that once you get the power back up to put the upgrade back on. There is a flame tank here. Do we have something sneaking along the bottom? No, there's nothing down there, unfortunately. Drive could do a double prong. The problem with the flame tank being up here is that this is where the army is. Masterleaf's going to spot that. Oh, did that escape his vision? It definitely crossed his vision, but did Masterleaf notice it? There's a big difference between seeing it or it crossing a vision, actually spotting it. There is a tank coming across. He's definitely spotted it. He's giving direct orders to that Predator tank there. He's got another one coming. He's expecting a flank there. So I think Drive, he only had one flame tank. He should have sent it to the bottom of the map. It really was the place to go. Shadow tanks, obviously not what the Scorpions want to see. There's a lot of Scorpion tanks coming now. Laser capacitors on the way. Dozer Blade almost done. Drive Russian is going to expand again. Battle marker up here. He's caught the flame tank. Might be able to get an APC kill. He will get an APC kill. Unfortunately, not cost effective. That flame tank does cost a lot more to deploy than that APC did. What's happening down here? A few Scorpions broke away from the main pack, and unfortunately Masterleaf, just a few forces here just getting split off from the main group, and they'll just be surrounded and destroyed. That's unfortunate. Masterleaf can't really afford to lose or just to give those away, because Drive took almost no damage doing that. There are Vertigo bombers out. Are you for real? That's fast Vertigo bombers. He will pop. He'll pop that Shadow tank as well. He's got lasers down. This is disastrous for Masterleaf. He now has no window left to attack and do damage to Drive Russian. He's just going to come back in and he snipes that one down. He's got nothing he can do again. There's no Shadow tanks here now. There's no splash damage. And these Scorpions, I mean, even with the Shatterer there, he would have still won that fight. Battle marker over there. Masterleaf trying to push his way in. Minefields all over the place, but the Scorpion tanks can clear those. Although, actually, no, that's probably Drive's minefield. So he should be fine. He's probably placed that down there. We'll see. I think Masterleaf should be aware of it. Is he going to drive into it? Yeah, that is the minefield from Drive Russian. Vertigo bombers coming across, and they'll just drop it on these tanks. The tanks can't really avoid that double hit on those tanks there. He will force a sell up over here on this side of the map, but these tanks are pretty much history. Battle marker over here, Drive Russian coming through. Masterleaf doesn't really have enough to push the point here. He's realized, there's a lot of Scorpion tanks here, but he's so far behind right now. We can see his MCV is on the southern field on the radar. MCV is down here, but he needs to be, he reinforcements up there as well, but they were split up. Oh man, you're just going to be so careful. Because he's got lasers, you can't really split your tank force up like that, because Drive was able to engage half a force at a time. If he had all of his tanks together, he would have been fine, but now his army is broken, and Masterleaf, that's going to be game one. Drive Russian will emerge victorious. I mean, pumping out those 2 vertigos just to cause problems. I mean, you don't usually see them that early in the game, or in this situation, people would just stay on the ground. But Drive Russian is Russian, and they play by a whole different set of rules, if you can even call them rules. But game 1 will go to Drive. Let's check out game number 2. So we have Masterleaf now playing on the bottom left-hand side. I believe he is the black hand, and Drive Russian is going to be on the right-hand side. He's going to be playing as Vanilla Nod, I believe. Yeah, he's sticking with Vanilla Nod. That's his, probably his main faction, I'd say. He can play any faction, but he definitely is specifically deadly on the Nod faction. Masterleaf now, we're going to have to see what's going to happen here. It could generally end up into a big bike buggy swarm of a game. We'll have to see how it goes. Refs coming down for both players. Drive just drafting 2 squad and 1 squad. Masterleaf just a single squad, which means he's definitely going for a bunker garrison only. This squad will stay at home. Absolutely 0 scouts for Masterleaf beyond his spike and his refinery. He may be planning on a Raider buggy. You pop the War Factory down, Raider buggy B lines right across the map. You can generally spot anything, and even if you can't spot a flame tank, you can you have stealth detection as Black Hand. You can see if there's a harvester missing and what's what. War Factory is down now, a little bit behind Masterleaf's there, unfortunately for Drive Russian. Raider buggy will be coming out. It's a bike coming out there, but we don't have a bike. We do have a harvester coming out from Drive Russian. So Drive Russian does not have any scouts. He did take the bottom garrison and the top one. He also secured himself a bunker, but not the far one. Generally, you want to get the far one. Vision out here. I mean, this one will give him a bit of vision here. Maybe he thinks that's a bit more of a safer option. You could cut in and down and around, but not with the scout in that garrison there. Second ref comes down. This is how you do the classic bike rush. You just go for a second ref. You don't build a harvester first because you want to build as many bikes as you can. You can actually get quite a lot of bikes out depending on how your harvester stock. He's going to go probably for 5 or 6 here. Going to make a move on Drive. The thing is that Drive hasn't been hit yet, so Drive is probably feeling reasonably comfortable. He is building some bikes because he cannot see what Masterleaf is doing. So we have 6 bikes, 7th bike coming out now. He's going to go down the bottom. The thing about this map, there's a lot of directions that Masterleaf can go. He has not been spotted yet. Whoa, geez, what happened to the game? It alt-tabbed. Did it crash? Oh, whoa, okay, there we go. So that was weird. The game does do that sometimes, only when I'm watching replays. Sometimes in game. Drive Russian will miss that. He will miss those units there, but he's got some bikes. He's going to run smack bang into Masterleaf, and he's going to come out 2v2, 2 bikes each lost. Third bike, 4th bike comes out. It's pretty even trade, but Masterleaf has more. He's got more. You know, we have the rocket squads coming out now, which is a good response. He needs to save his harvest. Look at that control from Drive. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to let these bikes do any damage to him whatsoever. Raider buggy will go down. That's unfortunate. Needs to pull them back. These Raider buggies aren't really accomplishing much. The bikes are able to pick them off. At this stage in the game, these Raider buggies are important. At early stages, losing units like this is not good. Drive, he does have a damaged harvester, but he did defend off reasonably well. Does have his ref down. Oh, sorry, no, doesn't have a ref down, sorry. He's got 3 harvesters, 2 ref. Masterleaf has leapfrogged the economy. He's got an extra harvester. Maybe a fifth harvester comes out now. That's good. I think he's working on a second ref. Drive Russian has 4 harvesters. He's a harvester down, and he's not working on a ref. Getting some repairs there. That harvester in range of the War Factory, so that harvester won't be as vulnerable. Masterleaf just still darting around, because that's what you do. You want to be proactive with these bikes. Even if you're not attacking Drive, moving them around and threatening him. You know, Drive doesn't know what you're going to do. He doesn't know if you're going to go in and attack. You know, if you drive around, he's going to have to be wary of what's going on. Singular rocket squad there. Ref will go down. No, a second wharf. Oh, we have a second ref down. So Masterleaf is going pretty heavy on the eco. He needs to get a second War Factory down though, and he's going for one, which is really good. This is definitely a War Factory. He'll have double War Factory, but he will have the assistance of an extra ref and 2 harvesters on the expansion. He's got 5 and 2, so he's fully saturated here, but he's got the extra boost of an income, and the second War Factory is down now. Drive is making a move. There's a short window, but Masterleaf still holds a couple of these bikes here. There's a short window of opportunity for Drive to get some damage in, but unfortunately he just hasn't been able to produce. He really just hasn't produced any units, has he? There's actually only these handful and that's it. He's actually stalled. Is he going for a ref? I'd be disappointed. Yeah, you went for a double war factory and then you didn't do anything with it. I don't agree with that. If you're going to put a double war factory down on one base, you gotta build some. That's the whole point of building the second war factory. If you're just going to put a ref down afterwards without building anything, then you just build the ref first. He will try to take the garrison. Only one of the squads got in. We'll take out that raider buggy. Unfortunately, with just one rocket unit in there, it would have been better for two. Could have done a lot more damage. But Masterleaf now is rolling. He has a second squad up here. He's actually got rockets over there just to cause Masterleaf some more problems. That raider buggy does go in for the scout only. Masterleaf pulls the rest back. He's got rocket squads, so Drive is defending quite well here. With the bare minimum, Masterleaf trying to strike in two places at once. And he will evac out this side here. Oh my god, did it again. I think I'm going to have to minimize command post. I think I'm actually selecting command post through the game. There's obviously some type of UI bug there. I've just minimized it. Shouldn't happen again. Masterleaf will get cleaned up there. He's got some more units over here. He was split up, so these other group of units looks like they were trying to merge with them, but fortunately couldn't make it in time. Drive now able to block any further attacks happening here. Masterleaf's going to try to chase him back now, so these guys playing a little bit of tag. We'll take a swing at some of those raider buggies at the front. Scorpion tanks coming down now for Masterleaf. Does have a second refinery here, operation center with the dozers on the way. Is that a third war factory? No, it is going to be a tech center. This is interesting because he is Black Hand. He cannot get laser capacitors. This is almost certainly for clicks. There's really no other reason. I mean, there's no point getting a Redeemer this early because it would take way too long and cost too much money. And you know, it'd take too long to cross the map as well. Like, it just wouldn't be very useful until later on in the game. So it's going to be for clicks. Drive is going to get clicked. He has not moved his MCV though. He's now going to transition. He's only transitioning to his own Scorpion tanks because Masterleaf is showing Scorpion tanks. So he's like, oh crap, he's got Scorpion tanks. I need Scorpion tanks. Having Bite Buggy in your back pocket is very beneficial in these fights as well because you still have the option for that fast attack. But Drive, unfortunately, has no Bite Buggy remaining. We have a Tib Vane here. That's going to be the end of his army there. Only about half dozen tanks got caught, so it wasn't disastrous, but Masterleaf's got Dozer Blades. He's on his way over here. He can use the Catalyst and slow Drive down even further. Look at Masterleaf's base on the radar. Very well developed. He's already in his third base. There's the click now. He's trying to pump out Fanatics, I believe. But I think it's going to be a little bit too late here. Rocket Squad's actually coming out, so that's not really going to help him. Masterleaf's going to be able to thin out the rest of the tanks. His tanks, of course, he's got more of them. He's got Dozer Blades, dropping a laser turret because he's just that desperate. So trying to focus down these tanks. Unfortunately, they don't do a ton of damage, as you can see there. Just pouring laser shots into this tank, but it's still just weathering it. Still not able to kill a single tank there. They're just simply too weak, and he's going to come through now. He's actually going to try to focus the other ref down. If he gets the other ref, I mean, that's good night. I mean, Drive, he does pop another one down, so he's going to try to fight this. Masterleaf may have to back up, but look at this. He's going to drop the Catalyst. Sorry, not the Catalyst, the Vapor Bomb. He's got to sell it. He's got no choice. He has to sell that. Masterleaf will get cleaned up down here, though. Perhaps these last few tanks may actually be able to get away. That Black Hand squad trying to get... Oh, pops that tank. There we go. Masterleaf not even trying to evac those tanks. I don't think he really cares anymore about those tanks. What is actually his follow-up? Masterleaf... Oh, he's got a ref down. What has he got? Does he have... He must have a lot of money. Yeah, he's floating 3k. I mean, it's not a huge amount. But he doesn't have any follow-up. Those tanks were destroyed, and that's really all he had. He's actually got all 2 MCVs. Yeah, no, he's got 2 MCVs. That's his follow-up. Takes a while to get the double MCV going and a lot of resources, and obviously he was using that time, buying that time, and now he's going to pop an obelisk down. And very hard to base push on these maps because of the distance. Drive will have a bit of time, but what's he going to do? He's got a tier 2. He doesn't. He's trying to go for tier 3 now. Masterleaf, I'm almost certain, will just continue to push across the map as soon as he drops the structures that he's working on. Those refs are just far enough apart, I believe, to avoid the catalyst. They might actually still be catalystable, if that's even a word. Purify comes out. Masterleaf now pumping out that very expensive unit. Both spikes going to be destroyed by both players, so there you go. Pops a War Factory. Could be looking at Spectre Artillery. Drive Russian has ceased tank production. It's not going to help him anymore, not with these obelisks. I mean, it would be fine if he had a lot of tanks, but because he only had a handful, there's no point trying to spam them, because he would never get enough to overrun this type of obelisk defense that Masterleaf's going to pull out. He's going to build Purifiers just because he knows it's like having another obelisk. It's not as powerful, of course, but which is interesting because you spend a lot more on this type of unit. He's just taking the piss here, I think, putting that right down there. He knows that Drive Russian. Oh, he's actually got beam cannons. I think he may have been a little bit silly there. Double obelisk comes down now. Takes those tanks out. Might want to get the repair tool down. Beam cannons is a good idea from Drive Russian. He's actually going to go for his own Redeemer here. And I think Masterleaf realizes now he might have to cut back to a few core tactics here. That beam cannon now taking a bit of fire, trying to shoot at the Purifier. There's only 4 beam cannons. That Purifier, I mean, you can see they melted a little bit. Oh, he might be able to get the MCV. No, he gets the deploy down. That's fine. Another obelisk comes down here. More Purifiers. There's actually 4 Purifiers here. The Redeemer is almost done. Those beam cannons, unfortunately, Drive not necessary. He could have pulled them over here, but they're getting flanked, and now the Scorpion tank's having to fight these Purifiers. They're not going to be able to fight those Purifiers. There's 4 Purifiers there. Look at them. Those tanks are way too light. Unfortunately, 2 beam cannons taken out. If Drive was able to build these up, he might have been fine. He's lost at least 3, I believe. If he had those 3, he'd have 6 and he'd be able to power down these base defenses. It would be a start, but again, he can't really do anything about these Purifiers. If the Redeemer comes out and gets a rage off, or he might glitch out. Oh, he's gonna. Oh my God! He almost. There is a bit of a delay when you put it into heavy damage mode, but he just managed to pop that one out. He's firing at the Redeemer. This is going to make things a little bit more difficult for Masterleaf, but I think he still should be able to wrap this one up pretty tight. Drive does not have a third base. Masterleaf does. He's just going to be annoying with this Redeemer. Work his way down there. Not much he can do about that, though. Those Purifiers are just evacing out, so Drive Russian. It's not much left of his base. He's actually going to be able to kill, I think, the Redeemer here now. There's no repair pad on this Redeemer, which means he's not reclaiming any health or anything. And he can run it down. It's in heavy damage mode. He could outrun it, but unfortunately he's going to turn around and go back. Masterleaf is going to have to actually back off here. It's not going to matter. He has Tib Core. He's going back for more War Factories now, and he's pumping out these bikes. So I think Drive Russian has been hit too heavily to recover here. These beam cannons, unfortunately, not able to be of any real use anymore. They served their purpose. They held the attack, but the cost was high for Drive. It's irrecoverable at this point. I think once he realizes the futility of the situation here, he's going to move down, even repairing some of these units. He needs to put another EMP down, and he's even firing at the rear armor of this Redeemer, which means these Tib Core units are going to be able to doing a lot, and he just surrenders, so he knows that's pretty much finished. He can just continually chain at that. He's got the forces to destroy that. Well done to Masterleaf there. He'll take it to the ace match. See if the semi-finals have started. If they have, I'll cut to those, but for the time being, we'll keep an eye on this series. Only one more game. So we have Drive sticking with Vanilla Nod. We're on Tournament Undergrounds. I very much enjoy this map. I really like the layout of this map. It's a parallel expansion. You don't see many of these maps where you expand vertically along with your opponent. Normally you kind of swap sides or you switch areas of the map and stuff like that. So Masterleaf, of course, will be playing Traveller 59, what he is most famous for. So he'll be pumping out the Scrin forces here on this map. And he's actually played GDI, Blackhand. Thanks for following. It's so good. But yeah, he's kind of switched around through all 3 of the factions, or 3 of the primary factions. He'll be putting his ref down. Is Drive Russian going to rush? No pun intended. Oh, 3 engineers. Has he got 3 engineers? What is Drive Russian? What? Whoa. There is no... Are we going to see an air tower? Wow, drive Russian. Balls on this Russian guy. He's just like, oh, ace match. I'm just going to do a stupendously risky strategy. He's going to call in these air transports. He's going to take 3 spikes. No, sorry, 4 spikes. He's going to take them all. Masterleaf isn't aware of this because he can't get into the enemy base. He's actually going to get in now. There's a Venom there, though. Would have probably been better to take that scout out. He's going to turn around and come back for it. The carryall's unfortunately not as quick as the V35s. They will be heading up to the top spike. He's actually going to try to grab Is he serious? The Gunwalker's out. He's quickly beelining to his spikes. He's like, oh crap. He could actually get the EMP coil if he wants. That Venom needs to kind of be here because Masterleaf could... Yeah, he's going to make an attempt over here. Can't really land there. That's not going to happen. He needs to hurry up and capitalize on this before the Gunwalker gets there. Gunwalker's going to run, but he shouldn't get there in time unless he gets some really bad luck with the spike movement here. And he's going to grab that. Doesn't matter if that dies now. Venom is out, of course, to ensure that no buzzers cause any problems for him. He's going to come back with this carryall. Not going to achieve too much. There's another Gunwalker, so he forced 2 Gunwalkers out, but this is the problem. 4 and 2 on his economy. Drive is 1 and 2. He's half the economy. He kept the air tower. This is interesting. I wonder why he kept the air tower. Maybe he's got something planned. He does maintain that top spike. What he could do, he better not lose the Venom because he kind of... It would be such a great scout to have at this point in the game as well. You could just fly 1,000,000 miles an hour over the enemy base. And he's sold it now, but he's gone into flame units. Wow, he's going into a delayed flame, and Masterleaf knows about it. But Masterleaf might think that's there because he does know he went for an air tower, and of course to go for an air tower you have to have a comm center or an operations center. So that might not be of any surprise to Masterleaf. But he is going to come in and spot the Reckoner, which is a bit unfortunate. If he's able to keep this Reckoner hidden, because I don't believe Masterleaf, yeah, he's got Seekers coming out now. He's probably going to go for another Warp Sphere. He's actually going for, it looks to be a refinery. Drive isn't going to stall in this game here. This Flame Tank is maybe it's not going to be able to do enough damage. He force fires. He takes about 1/4 of the health off those buildings. The Reckoner, unfortunately, is going to have to evac here. God damn, he's just full unleashed right now. So yeah, Ref came down. This is a bit iffy because Masterleaf's going to be on 1 Warp Sphere. He had to put down a Photon Cannon. Very good base defense, by the way. The only tier 2 base defense that is worth actually building. He's going to come in. He's going to target these Harvesters. He should be able to get a Harvester kill before the Seekers rock up. The Disintegrators will take out a few bikes. A few more bikes killed in the way out, but it wasn't too bad, I guess. The Flame Reckoner somehow gets in. It's not going to be able to cause enough damage. He will building block it as well. Masterleaf didn't repair either of these structures, by the way. He's going to come in, he's going to shoot at another Harvester. The Photon Cannon will have to turn around. He's still going to flame this down. Masterleaf is just being pulled in so many directions. Get out of the way. It's command post that does that. And it's because it's not minimized. So I've minimized it now. He will pop another one. And look at this, Masterleaf just having trouble cleaning this up. There is a Buzzer Swarm there, and he will snare those units. So, but that's the thing, even though Drive isn't doing a particularly large amount of damage, he's hitting him in so many different directions that Masterleaf has to respond to all of it. And he lost a little bit here and a little bit there. He's all in. He is all in off this. Drive Russian is all in. A 3rd Harvester will come out. Now, just remember, he does have 3 spikes. And I believe he might even have that carryall floating around. Does he have the... We can't see his radar, obviously. Yeah, no, he does. He's still got it. It's still there. Masterleaf can't see much as well, so that's going to be a problem for him. Nerve Center is down. Not sure what that's going to achieve. Going to be able to put a spike down, but really, I mean, if he was aware that he's being all-in, then he could just build Seekers. He could just double War Factory Seekers, you know, and he'd be fine. Because he's got a ref down, he can put a 2nd ref down if he wants. I think he's trying to go for tier 3, but the problem is it's going to take a while for tier 3 to come out. And just remember, Drive, all Drive is going to do is build units. He's just going to build units. That's all he's going to do. Nothing else is planned. And he's actually starting to kill these Seeker tanks. He's actually got another Harvester. There's actually no Photon Cannons. And the Raider Buggies are force firing down the Seeker tanks. A couple of photon cannons would be really handy right about now, but unfortunately it's not going to happen. A second ref comes down. He put the nerve center down, then he put down a second ref. That's questionable, Masterleaf. You must be watching this and thinking, why was your build like this? Photon cannons are coming down now. It's a little bit late. He lost so much of his army. His economy didn't get hit too bad. Yes, he lost another harvester, but losing the sheer amount of seekers he did, that's probably the bit that hurts. 2 photon cannons here. This is fine. He should be able to defend this out. He's actually going to focus down one of the harvesters. Going to evac. He's still got the venom. That's handy. He can't repair it, of course, so pretty much what he's got is what he's got. He should have had another engineer from his sold off, what do you call it, sold off MCV. He could try to capture the EMP spike. If he had that, he could have been doing something with it by now. And I believe he's still probably got the carry-all in the top of the map. Yes, he does have the carry-all up there, so he might have forgotten about it, or maybe he's just waiting for the opportunity to move it in. Stasis comes down now. Again, I'm not sure what Masterleaf's plan is. He's probably going for the upgrade, yeah. I was going to say, because if he's going for, like, shock troopers, I mean, he's definitely not... definitely don't do cultists versus bike buggy. That's just silly. But he could try shock troopers. They're really fast. They can blink. Still need to upgrade the disc launchers for them. But yeah, no, he's just going for the fast leg seekers. The problem is these raider buggies. That's the big deal. Masterleaf not even able to complete the refining of his main field. That's never good. He's engaging here now. Bit of a move order. That was, oh yeah, that was a bit critical. Like even a small mistake like that is costing him big time. He's actually going to get over on the buggies. Just sit there and just shoot through it. And look at all the bikes that Drive's managed to build. He's built so many of these. There's a small hit squad coming over here, so the Venom will probably die. Masterleaf really needs to kill that. He will take it out. He's actually attacking Drive's units now. He's sending the Raider buggies back. He's panicking a little bit. Yeah, he's trying to come back. He can't really afford to lose these harvesters. Or Masterleaf might have just found a weakness here. Will he get all 3? No, he won't get the last harvester. That could be important. Did he sell his power plant? No, he did not. He's got an upgraded power plant. He will come in and destroy these forces here. That's fine, but losing 2 harvesters, that might have been too much for him. He's got a lot of bikes left though, doesn't he? Masterleaf has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 and 2. The refs are a little bit, you know, not as in the most ideal position. But Drive has so many forces here, and he's going to pop this spike. And you've got to remember, Drive has had 3 spikes since the very early stages of the game. That's 30 credits a second. On top of his 3 harvesters. Yes, he's only got 1 harvester now, but he's actually going to focus down the warp sphere. Accidentally splashed down some of his raider buggies there. He splashed down 2 of his own buggies because they were standing too close to the warp sphere. The formation moves have been phenomenal, by the way, from Drive, just blocking out Masterleaf and just forcing him to fire at the units there. But again, the game is not done just yet. Masterleaf can definitely still hold out on one base. He's refining quite a bit. Did Drive rebuild? He's got his 3 harvesters back. He had to sell one of his war factories though, so he's, I mean, as not, he can endlessly produce out of this 1 war factory because, you know, he can easily support 1 war factory with what he's got. A lot of blue Tiberium there, neither side able to actually capitalize on that. Can't blame them. Drive probably doesn't need to anymore since he wouldn't be able to spend it even if he got it. Doesn't have enough production. He's going to come in, take a swing at these units here, unfortunately losing or donating a few bikes. That's pretty good for Masterleaf. A lot of Seeker tanks here. Where were the Raider buggies? They're kind of just chilling over here, aren't they? Single Scorpion tank comes out as well. Force fire coming down. Going to leave some of these units behind. He still has the carry-all here. He's probably definitely forgotten about that. Can't blame him. He's got no radar. Could have capitalized on that EMP center. Locked down maybe a bunch of Seeker tanks. Just gone in, cleaned house on the disintegrators. Another hit squad is coming out by Masterleaf, so will Drive spot it this time, but oh, that's left the field open. That's left it open, and this is the thing, those bikes, 2 harvesters, see you later, they're out of there. They're not going to risk sticking around any longer. These assimilators are trying to take his spikes. If he loses those spikes, there's no way to reclaim them. He'll have to destroy them. He's going to try to focus them down. He will get 1. He's just going to force fire the ground, and he should be able to get the second one. Whoa, accidentally force fires the spike itself, so yeah, he's going to be able to destroy that Masterleaf, not even attempting to do anything about that. A lot of Raider buggies here. Masterleaf just doesn't have, now that he is left with just this handful of units, obviously the hit squad is still alive. I'm not sure if Drive is aware that that's there. No, no, that's completely escaped his vision. He's definitely, he either saw it elsewhere or he kind of has a suspicion, and look at that. Just spots that there, but did he notice it? Not 100% sure. He is moving away, probably didn't notice that battle marker over there. The engineer was landed, but unfortunately... Oh, it's another engineer. That's a separate one from the one that's in the carryall. I can just imagine playing this series. It'd be so on edge for both of these players right now. This is an ace match, by the way. You can't just surrender. You know, if you think things aren't going your way, you have to fight. You have no choice. It's the last game of the series. Double warp spheres finally coming down, but the thing is, he's run out of Tiberium. He can only power one of them. He's going to come in. I think he needs to be a bit careful here. He's going to try to focus these down. The bikes are here. Masterleaf will fall back into the structures. Defenses of his base, and needs to fight kind of around this beachhead area here with the support, the repairs that he can get. Might even be able to call in his own repair drones for extra assistance, because they do repair faster than the war factory, and he could essentially have a single repair drone for every single Seeker tank. It's not going to do that. It's a $2,000 support power though. Drive is repelled, but Masterleaf has no way of getting to the third base. He can long range, he could even just go back to his main. It would be easier to defend because of the way the terrain works here. He can obviously stick his units here, and this blocks them from getting around. Masterleaf is going to beeline across. He's going to base race. He's actually got an MCV out. He's going to beeline across the map. The hit squad is coming down. He's going to converge. There's going to be two fights. It's going to be base race. Oh no, Masterleaf is going to just about lose that MCV. I think it's going to go down. Meanwhile, the base race is on over here. I think the drone ship will be destroyed. He does destroy the drone ship. The bikes are going to get away. A little bit of losses happening over there, but most of the fighting is now focused over here. This is it. Masterleaf has to win the game here because he lost his drone ship, so it's very unlikely he can make another stand. And the infantry is a problem. He really doesn't have any way to counter the infantry. He does score a harvester, which was trapped in the bottom of the map here. The bikes now are taking pot shots at them, and they're just going to come in, and oh, look at that, those Seekers, they all overlap. That's unfortunate. And Masterleaf, he doesn't have anywhere near enough to fight what Drive has. Drive is aware of it, he knows it, he's going to push forward, and he's going to finish these forces off. And I think with that, Masterleaf may be finished. He's trying to go for blue tip, he's forgotten about his harvester there. He's still being forced backwards here now, and this is terrible. He's getting punished in the retreat. He can't retreat fast enough. He decides to stand and fight, but oh my god, I wish that would stop happening. God damn it. Yeah, unless you minimize command post, I seem to be able to select it through my game, which is a bit of a pain. And now Masterleaf's forces are pretty much all but done, starting to pick off these harvesters. He has a few harvesters. Blue Tiberium is coming out. He's trying to fight. He needs to hold on any way possible, but the problem is Drive has a ref out. He built his MCV, got a ref out. He's actually managed to recover. Even if Masterleaf holds this, what can he hope to achieve? He doesn't have a drone ship. He can't build anything else aside from gunwalkers, disintegrators, and seekers. Yeah, and obviously buzzers if he really wants to. But no, that's going to be it. He doesn't really have a way to counter the infantry. Being forced to build gunwalkers now, which means he's not going to be able to kill much else. The militant squads are preventing any of these disintegrators coming out. He's got a heroic militant squad there. How? He's got a heroic militant squad. He will kill those forces. It might be better just to walk over those units now, and Masterleaf has realised that that's going to be it. Drive will take the series 2-1, and hopefully it's time for the semi-finals, which is what you guys probably really want to see. Yeah, look at that resources-wise. Masterleaf is definitely... I think there was a screenshot of this in the Discord. He was disappointed that he got so much more money. 94,000, 73,000. Wasn't able to capitalise. Too many of his units got split up, and he took too many in game. I mean, I can't really tell Masterleaf how to play because he's pro, but just analysing the replay, really... We'll leave it at that. It's frustrating. I had a loss against Senate. That was frustrating.